Hey there, what's up everybody? It's Dr. Shazetta. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. This is Vlogmas Day 2. And yes, I know that I started Vlogmas like 4 or 5 days late. But anyway, mind your business, judge your mama. I ain't even stressing about it like that. But I wanted to get in on Vlogmas while I can. If you watched yesterday's video, I was sharing with you all just how challenging 2025 has been. And really a little bit before 2025. So I would say the last 12 to 16 months. And with the challenges and navigating through those challenges and doing kind of that deep soul work with therapy and all of the things, I've also learned a lot about myself, and I have learned to give myself permission to care for and about myself and to love myself and to invest in myself. And so today I wanted to share with you a few things that I've begun, in a few ways I should say, that I've begun investing in myself in this past year. One is I have returned to my bi-weekly visit to the nail shop. Now, y'all, when I was in graduate school, so I'm talking like 2007 to 2010 or so, 2011 maybe, I was that bi-weekly nail shop girl. Hands, feet, you name it. It was so serious that when I had a cast on my arm, on one of my arms, I think it was I'm looking for the scar. It was on my right arm, and couldn't have nails on this hand, I still went to the nail shop every 2 weeks to get the left hand done. And so that was, I mean, that's how committed I was to it. But as life just continued to happen and I got more busy and I had more responsibilities and I had children and all the things, it just was no longer a priority. And as we navigated through our different phases in our financial life, it seemed like a frivolous expense, and I'd lost um, how that made me feel. Right? I don't love, and I've never loved needing to go to the nail shop, right? Particularly because of the kind of nails that I get. Like after a while, they just look janky. You need to go and get them soaked off, or you need to go and get a fill in, or you need to go and do whatever you're gonna do. Um, and so I would hate feeling like I had to go, but it was so much a part of my routine that I did. Like I don't love the nail shop. I just don't. Um, the one that I found now, I like it a lot better, but having to go to the nail shop is just, well, I can't explain it. But I like the results, both how they look, but I also like how I feel. And I like having that polished, completed look once I leave the nail shop. But I had gotten away from that for several years, and from time to time, I would hop back into the rotation. I'm going, but then again, would feel guilty for the expenditure and all of that. And so this year, the last few months in particular, since the summertime, I've begun giving myself permission again to get into that bi weekly routine of going and sitting and allowing someone to care for my hands and my feet. I don't always do both at the same time, but minimally, my hands are done. Um, every 2 weeks, and that has done a lot for how I feel when I get dressed, how I feel when I don't put a lot of effort into getting dressed or looking fly. I still know that my eyebrows are done and my nails are done. Speaking of eyebrows, eyebrows is another place that I have continued to invest in. Now, eyebrows isn't something that I just started this year. I've always been particular about my eyebrows being done. But this year I did, it was time for my microblading to be done. So that was an investment that I made in myself, to have my microblading refreshed for this year. And well, my brows be brown, y'all. Um, Thirdly, another place where I have invested in is my wardrobe. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I am a rather conservative dresser. I dress for comfort and I dress so that I have a polished look, right? I am not the razzle dazzle girl, but I like my stuff to fit. I like my stuff to fit well. I like my stuff to be good quality because generally I don't like shopping for clothes. I'm not the girl that likes to go into the mall and spend hours in there. When I go into a store, I'm going knowing what I'm looking for most times. I'm going in to get it and I'm coming out. And so I have given myself permission this year, particularly with the weight loss, to go into some of my favorite stores. I love J. Crew. I love Banana Republic. There are a couple of other spaces that I like to go into, to go in, to try on clothes, to get what I need to get, and to spend the money to get it. Try to be responsible, right, in my spending, but I also know that because I don't shop much, that investment pieces are fine. Now, I'm not going here spending $500 or $600 on a pair of pants or a sweater. It's not that, but I have given myself permission to invest in quality items so that when I decide that I'm gonna put my clothes on, that things are polished, right? I have given myself permission and to invest in a few luxury items. I am a fan of Coach, and I know it's not the most luxury bag brand. I've always loved Coach since I was much younger. I just like the look of Coach. It's a classic look. I love it. So I bought a couple of Coach pieces this year that I really absolutely love. They'll last me real close to a lifetime, I think. Um, and I know that they're quality pieces. And again, they make me feel good and like my outfits are finished and put together. Um, when when I go out and about. Another thing that I've invested in this year is a skincare system. So if you had seen me a year and a half, 2 years ago, one, I was under an immense amount of stress. Secondly, I was extremely unhealthy in my body and in my all of myself. But it manifested in my skin, and so my skin was really inflamed. I had horribly clogged pores. I had really big red, um, really angry, right, bumps and patches on my face. And the places where those were, whenever they would pop or I would pick at them, I had these big dark spots, like completely on one side of my face. And as I realized and looked in the mirror a couple of times and was like, I literally don't recognize this chick, and this is evidence of me not taking care of myself. I began to tend to my face um, differently. I visited an esthetician. I was doing the medicated things and began to clear my skin up and to get it less angry, and stopped wearing makeup for a while to give my skin a chance to breathe. And I still am not a heavy makeup wearer, never have been, but just started letting my skin breathe. And after I got to the place where my skin had healed, this year, I, after some research and consultation with the esthetician, invested in a skincare system. It's not an expensive system, but it is a system that works for me. It's a system that my skin responds well to. And so I've invested not only in the products for the system, but I've invested time, right? I sometimes do it twice a day, but definitely it's done once a day at the top of the day without question, without fail. It is an investment that I make in myself. Even if I'm running late to something, I still pause to invest that time in myself to remind myself that I am worth it. So that's skincare. Fourthly or fifthly, whichever number I'm on, I am invested in fitness. This is new, like I'm only about 8 weeks in on this. Um, I have been feeling really convicted about um, exercising in particular, which is it's a whole story around that. I'll share it another day. But as I've been taking better care of myself this year in a real intentional way, doing Zepbound and the GLP-1 to help me get some additional weight off. So in 2017, my husband and I both did the gastric sleeve surgeries, lost a boatload of weight, kept off a boatload of weight. But since COVID, I've had about 25 or 30 pounds on me that I just couldn't shake and couldn't get my weight loss restarted. And so started Zepbound back in March or April of this year. And it's been working really well. But I also know that Zepbound is expensive, and also know that I don't want to stay on medication for the rest of my life to maintain my weight. And so knew that I needed to really make some intentional decisions about movement, and also my joints and stuff were creaking, just a whole lot of things going on. Needed to get some exercise, point blank period. And so I've invested time over the last 8 weeks just getting up and making sure that I get my exercise in every single day, Monday through Friday. And one piece of equipment that we invested in for both myself and my husband is called the Tempo. I think it's the Tempo Fit. It's a little cabinet that has like this docking station on it, and the app is like $39 a month, but it gets both me and my husband both our workouts, and you plug it in and it casts to your TV, and everything you need to do the exercise is in the cabinet, like the weights and all those sorts of things. A significant monetary investment, if you look at it as a standalone. And also, there have been months where in 2 months what we spent on this cabinet, we would have spent ordering food out or eating out at restaurants and all those sorts of things. So it was $750, I think, total. And it has been amazing for us both. And the monthly subscription for the app is less than what one gym membership would cost us. So certainly less than what 2 gym memberships would cost us. And so it's been a real investment that we have made in ourselves. Another way that I've invested in myself is with this camera that I'm looking at right now. Now, cameras, for most of you, if you know me at all, is not a surprising thing for you all. I'm a camera nut because I'm a photographer. Although I haven't really had much inspiration to pick up my cameras for photography in the last year or so, hoping perhaps to rediscover that love and that passion. But for right